So here we are. It's been 1 year since I launched the Banff Travel Podcast. I want to say a giant thank you to you all who have listened to the episodes, shared them, and showed up week after week. Stay tuned because I have a fun giveaway for this episode. Welcome back to the Banff Travel Podcast. I'm your host, Celine Brewer, and it is my mission to help you have the best adventure in the Canadian Rockies and to make sure that your trip planning is as easy as possible. It's been an entire year, 55 episodes, closing in on 50,000 downloads. This podcast has become so much more than I thought it would be. I had some close friends suggest that I should do this podcast, and initially I just dismissed the idea. Then I had a friend start one for Hawaii travel, and watching her, I started to see the possibility, so I went for it. I honestly didn't believe that so many people would want to listen to me, but the feedback I've received has been so motivating, so I'm so glad to be here and happy that you're here with me. To celebrate this milestone, I've decided to give away 3 30-minute travel consultations with me. Here's what I need you to do to enter, so listen closely. I want you to head to banfftravelplanning.com/podcast. You'll see a big button that says enter giveaway. Second, I want you to give me some feedback. What do you love? What could be better? What do you want to hear about? Is there something you want more of, less of? And third, just ask me one question that you have that maybe I haven't answered or you want to hear more about it. That's it. Everyone who does this by April 20th will be entered in the draw for one of 3 30-minute travel consultations with me. So head to banfftravelplanning.com/podcast and send me that feedback and your questions. And because I love feedback so much, I'm taking some from all of you. I received so many positive responses to the episode where I shared a Banff travel consultation with you, so I'm doing another one this week. This consultation was an American couple in their 60s who only have 2.5 to 3 days in Banff, but still wanted to see as much as possible. This is a different kind of trip than what they usually take, so I wanted to give them options, but keep it flexible depending on how much or how little they wanted to see once they were here. After this call, I followed up with them in email with more details on timing for stops along the way, how to make it happen, and more shuttle options in case they decided to not go with Parks Canada for Moraine Lake and Lake Louise. You'll also hear me talk about the possibility of avalanche danger in early June. This is just a reminder that this can be a possibility, and it's always important to check trail conditions and do your own research before heading out on any hikes. Your safety is your own responsibility. Here's how the call went. So you guys are driving from Kamloops. Are you guys doing something prior to that, or?
Yeah, we're getting into Vancouver on that Sunday afternoon. We're going to spend a couple days in Vancouver, and then on Tuesday driving to Kamloops, mostly just to kind of break up the day. Not that there's any Kamloops that we're aware of, or maybe
not a whole lot.
But or if there's a better place for us to do our halfway point, I'd be open to that. But it seemed logical.
Yeah, I mean, as far as like how far you want to go, the only thing I might say is if you wanted to drive all the way to Revelstoke, but that's certainly going to be a lot nicer. So it might also depend how much time like you want to spend in the car too, right? Or if it's like, this is just our stopping point, let's just get as far as we can go.
Very good. And then so we're planning on then getting into Banff, probably like around early afternoon on Wednesday.
Yeah.
And then being in Banff Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then Saturday morning getting breakfast and then getting our flight to out of Calgary.
Okay. So you fly out on Saturday?
Yeah. Flight out on Saturday.
What time is your flight at?
In the afternoon. I think it's a 3 or 4 o'clock flight.
I don't know if you guys know, but you do need to clear customs, U.S. customs here in Calgary. So you'll just want to leave time for that. It's just one of those places that you'll do that in advance. So you have to do security and customs here in Calgary. So usually the recommendation is, about 3 hours. You might find it goes really fast and you're sitting there going, what a waste of time. But sometimes it's nice to have that. So by the time you drop off your rental car and do all that kind of stuff as well.
Okay. Thank you.
And then Banff to Calgary is roughly an hour and a half. Probably going to be a morning, maybe maybe you'll have time for like a nice walk in the morning around the town of Banff
Right.
or something, and then head out from there.
Yeah.
So
So I think and please jump in if there's questions to guide us, but our main thinking was to describe a little bit about kind of how we travel, what we're looking for, and to help us kind of plan, kind of the itinerary of we'll say 3 days, 2.5 days.
Yeah.
And also then with like logistics, I've heard a lot about buses and shuttles and that kind of thing that seems a little needing some expertise with. So we're both 63. So we like the outdoors. We're not avid outdoor folks, not avid hikers. We certainly want to see.
We're active people, but we don't do a lot of national park stuff. This is kind of just a different, we probably have done more European trips, more city trips in the US is kind of more our thing. So this is kind of out of our box a little bit.
So maybe more like scenic walks as opposed to like big hikes or anything like that as
or
well.
a good medium 3 mile, hour and a half, 2-hour hikes or something we're interested in.
Yeah. And again, I mean, you only have 2 full days. So you probably don't like with only 2 days, you probably don't want to spend the whole day out hiking either. So
right.
Okay. Got it. And anything else as far as that? Was there anything like we can talk about obviously like Louise and Moraine, like anything else came up for you guys that you like, oh my God, I want to see that or I want to do that?
I mean, I think we want to see different things, gondolas sounded interesting, to go up and kind of hike around.
Johnson Canyon looked cool, really cool from the pictures. So
it is really beautiful. It's one of those places I think that gets a really bad rap because it's probably not only the easiest hike, but probably one of the most popular places in Banff. And so it gets a bad rap because it gets really busy. And I think that I always think that there's ways around that. I think it's actually quite stunning when you're like in the canyon, you have the water rushing, especially early June, right? Because that's still like very much spring for us. You get like the high water volumes and all of that. So I always tell people if you're willing to get up in the morning to do it or doing it like later in the evening when people are gone for dinner and you can go do it, you're probably going to really enjoy it. If you go midday when all the tour buses are there and people are like lining up to take their Instagram picture, which the rest of us couldn't care less about, then you're probably going to hate it. Right.
Gotcha.
So that's what I would do. And I mean,
we can get up and go and we can. And, the only other thing I would say is we're basing our, I listened to couple of your podcasts. And
hopefully not the one from yesterday that I made a giant mistake on.
No, they're probably previous ones. Just it was more talking about being 3 days there. Your idea of having a Banff day and a Lakes day. And then, I don't know. I mean, I think we're leaning less against like the Icefield Parkway. I mean, I don't know since we're going to drive all the way from Vancouver if we need another driving day. Right. So it'd be maybe 2 Banff-ish days and 1
So
park
I
days.
totally agree. Like I feel like with the amount of time you guys have, like yes, the Icefields Parkway is absolutely stunning, but we can really say that about so many places around here, right? So maybe you don't want to spend that much time sitting in a car. Like you guys are just going to spend 2 days driving. So my thoughts are maybe on Wednesday when you guys are coming through, you stop at like Yoho National Park. So some of those places, right? And like, it's going to be nice. It's going to be a Wednesday. So maybe you do, if you feel like doing a hike, you could do Wapta Falls or you could do around Emerald Lake. So you could stop at Emerald Lake. Wapta. Yeah. WAPTA. And so it's a shorter hike. It's fairly easy until you get to the waterfalls. But if you like waterfalls, it's like a massive waterfall. It's really beautiful. You can see it from above and then you can hike down and see it from river level as well. You guys are going to literally drive right past trailhead for it. Yeah. So you guys could drive, you could stop there and then you could stop at Emerald Lake. And so Natural Bridge, you may have heard as well, is on the way to Emerald Lake. So it's just a quick like 15, 20-minute stop where kind of the river carves through the stone there. Emerald Lake is absolutely beautiful, especially if you catch it on a nice day. And then I would stop at Takaka Falls. So Takaka Falls is the second highest waterfall in Canada. It's really pretty. It's an easy walk to it. And you guys, again, going to be driving right past those points. So I would take advantage of that on your way to Banff, so you don't have to drive all the way out there again later.
You can drive and park in Yoho.
Yes, you can.
Okay, that's
Yeah, yeah.
okay.
There may be, because it's going to start getting busy early June, you may have to park a little bit down the road for Emerald Lake. You may find, depending on what time you get there, that it's starting to get busy. You are midweek as well, so but yeah, it's hard to say. It's really hard to say what this year is going to be. Last year was pretty crazy, and it starts getting busy in June, but you should be able to park there. You may be parking down the road more than you want and have to walk to the lake. So just heads up. If you guys like to do canoeing, or if you have any interest in that, you can also do that at Emerald Lake.
Okay.
Again, that's a first come, first serve thing, so you can't book it in advance. You guys can just decide when you're there, maybe based on lineup or if you feel like it. And then at that point, I would probably continue on to Banff and then enjoy the town of Banff for whatever amount of time you have left that day. As we go through Thursday and Friday as well, sometimes what you don't have time for can be done in the evening, right? Like, I don't know how late you guys want to stay out, but for an example, like the whole Lake Minnewanka area that you may have heard me talk about, it's just outside the town of Banff. You go by like 3 lakes, so Johnson Lake, Two Jack Lake, Lake Minnewanka. If you don't have time to fit that in otherwise, you can always do that as a scenic drive in the evening and go and see them, because it stays light out quite late here, right? Like, you're probably looking at that time, you're probably looking at 9:30 at night before sunset. So yeah. So there's a lot of options if you guys are like, okay, we're just going to push through in these 2 days and see what we can see. You could go for dinner and then go back out and do something or look for wildlife.
Okay.
Alternatively, you can do that during the day, but I just wanted to go through those 2 days before you decide what your evenings might look like.
Good.
So then there's Lake Louise and Moraine Lake, right? What everybody comes here to see. I would book a shuttle for those. So your options are to either do like a Parks Canada shuttle, which is cheap and flexible. If you want to save yourself some time waiting in lines and stuff like that, there's a lot of like commercial shuttle operators as well. Sometimes people just don't want to bother with Parks Canada, but I can go through the different options for that. But let's talk about what you'd like to do at the lakes first, because that will help narrow down what the best option is. So at Lake Louise, a lot of people will hike to the tea house, one of the 2 tea houses there. You may have seen that mentioned. You could hike to Lake Agnes Tea House. I always tell people, if you're going to go through the effort of hiking to Lake Agnes Tea House, I think you should hike a little bit further than that and at least go to the Little Beehive. So it's about 7.5 kilometers to Lake Agnes Tea House. So it's about 4 to 5 miles there. That's return. Sorry, that's there and back. Total hiking. And then if you want to go to the Little Beehive, it is a total of 2 kilometers more. So just like another extra mile on top of that. So you might be looking at about, 4.5 to 5.5 return. The reason why I say to go at least to the Little Beehive is because that's where you can get that really beautiful view over Lake Louise and the chateau. And the thing about the lakes too is sometimes when you see them at like ground level, they don't necessarily always have that really stunning color. But if you get a little bit higher up, then you get that really like blue color. The hike to the tea house itself, you'll get some glimpses of Lake Louise through the trees, but it's not like a super scenic hike in itself. You get to stop at Mirror Lake. That's really cool. You'll see like the big beehive. You'll see what I mean when you get there, but it's like the shape of a beehive. And then you'll get to Lake Agnes, which is really pretty. But I always like people to get that view down over Lake Louise too. And I think it's worth the extra bit of effort to do that.
Okay.
Is that something that you guys were maybe thinking might be of interest, is hiking to the tea house? So there's another tea house there, but the hike is twice the distance.
Yeah, I think that's on our.
Definitely.
Cool. Okay. So let's say that you took a shuttle to Lake Louise, you did your hike. And then if you took Parks Canada, then you can just do the shuttle, get in line, do the Lake Connector shuttle over to Moraine Lake. And then you can walk up the rock pile there, maybe walk the Lakeshore Trail there as well. The rock pile is where you get the view behind me. I don't know if you can like fully see it. Okay. So that's the view that you get from up at the rock pile. And then the lakeshore is usually less busy and it's just really pretty along the lake. So that would be my recommendation for there. So as for shuttles, you have a couple of options. So you could drive to Lake Louise. So the Lake Louise ski resort is where you would catch the Parks Canada shuttle. It's only $8 a person, and that's Canadian. And then it will take, so you just book for whichever lake you want to go to first in a 1 hour time slot. So let's say you wanted to go up to Lake Louise sometime between 8 and 9 a.m. So you would book that 1 hour time slot, Lake Louise first. And then when you get there, you check in with Parks Canada, you get in line for the Lake Louise shuttle, you go to Lake Louise. When you're done there, you go back to the parking lot and you just get in line for the Lake Connector shuttle instead. So that's included, and it's just a first come, first serve, just when you're ready, and it'll take you to Moraine Lake. And then when you're done with Moraine Lake, super simple.
You don't need a time slot for that.
Nope, not
just
for that
the
one.
First one. Okay.
Just the first one. And then you go to Moraine Lake, and then when you are done there, you just go get in line to go back to the ski resort.
Okay.
And that's it. So pretty
So
simple.
are the cheap, simple line? I mean, do you think lines midweek are going to be?
I don't think they would be that bad. They're not going to be like a July, August thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not worth paying for some other shuttle service to.
I just think that one's so flexible and easy that, yeah, I would probably do that, to be honest, rather than paying like almost $100 a person.
Okay.
Especially midweek, early June. Yeah. So that would be a large portion of your day, right? By the time you catch the shuttles and go there, at that point, I'd probably say, you know, maybe go back to Banff, and maybe that evening you do the Banff gondola would be a good way to fit that in. So maybe late afternoon, or if you guys want to do it for dinner, if you want to eat at the Sky Bistro up there, like you could go up there at 4:00. You could spend an hour walking the boardwalks and come back, have dinner, and then head back down.
Okay.
So we've done like Yoho National Park, we've done Lake Louise and Moraine Lake. And then your Friday, maybe that's the morning you guys get up early and go do Johnston Canyon. And then.
Does that have an opening like in the morning?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, no, you can go anytime.
Do we need a pass to the national park? Okay.
You will need a national park pass because it's not free during your dates. It's not until June 19th. So you will need
all this. We need
daily
to have
passes.
a national park pass.
Yeah. Yeah. And it'll just be daily passes. You can buy them online and just print them out.
Okay.
So I'll send you the link where you guys can do that. And that's probably what I would do just so you have it. Okay. And then, yeah, so that will cover, like you'll get like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So you get 3 days because it's good till 4:00 the following day. Yeah. So then you guys could go and hike Johnston Canyon. You guys could do the Lake Minnewanka loop that we talked about as well. Like that I said that you could potentially do in the evenings. So there's Johnson Lake, which is really pretty. Two Jack Lake usually has some really nice mountain reflections. And then on Lake Minnewanka itself, they actually do a boat cruise, which talks about the area and all that kind of stuff. So if that's of interest to you, I think that would be well worth it. I really enjoy it. They talk about the history of Lake Minnewanka and just the entire area. And so you get kind of mountain scenery with also your boat ride. And then you can also walk along the shores of the lake and just take your time, right? Taking it all in.
Okay.
Is that boat cruise something that we can like online get tickets for ahead of time, or you get it when you're okay?
Yeah, you can. So you can book the Banff gondola in advance. You can book the Lake Minnewanka cruise in advance. Your shuttles, you're going to do that on April 15th at 8 a.m. Mountain Time.
Yeah, we saw. Okay. Yes, we have that written down.
Yeah. So, and it's an entire queuing system. So I'm actually, right before this, I'm actually putting together a video that explains how the queuing system works and when you should log on and all of that. And so I'm giving that to people who do consultations with me for free. So it's going to be like a 15-minute video. Just watch it. Let me know if you have any questions, but it'll explain like the whole system. I took some video of me going through it last year when I was booking camping reservations, but it's the exact same thing. So I do talk about camping a little bit in it, and some of it is very early in the morning. So excuse the look, because I was like, oh my God, I got to get up and record this video at 7:30 in the morning. But anyway, so I recorded them and, I will send you guys that probably within a day or so, and you can look through that and make sure you understand how the shuttle system works. It can be a little complicated. But just there's a lot of like little nuances with it. Like if you're staying at Chateau Lake Louise, or you have to check in at the ski resort, people are always trying to figure out an easier way around. Like, what if I get my shuttle ticket and then I just drive to Lake Louise and then I take it from there? And I'm like, no, you can't do that. It's not the way it works. So anyways, people tend to make it more complicated by looking for loopholes. But
what's the difference? I mean, we wrote about the Sunshine Gondola and the Banff Gondola. Are they two different things?
Two completely different things, but the Sunshine Gondola is not open when you guys are going to be here.
Okay, well, that takes it out.
Yeah, and also Lake Louise does a gondola as well, and I haven't seen their opening days, but very good chance that is also not going to be open quite yet. The Banff Gondola runs all year. The other ones are at ski resorts. So they have to wait until the ski season is done, and then they have to get ready for summer. So, and it also depends how much snow is up in the Alpine for those ones. Whereas the Banff Gondola is just open all year long.
It looks like the tea house isn't opening till is like the day we're thinking of going.
I haven't checked. Is out the date that they're saying right now?
June 4th, Thursday, June 4th. So,
right. Yeah.
It might be their day one. So, all right.
Well, you know what you could do?
Friday.
You could also switch it to Friday. Yeah. 100%. Right. Yeah. That could change altogether. But if it does change and they don't open, because it will depend on what our spring is like, because some of those trails go through avalanche terrain. So I'll just give you some different options if that is the case. So if you can't hike to the tea house, I would say what you should do instead is walk the lakeshore at Lake Louise to the back, and like all the way to the back of the lake and back. And then there's a short hike that will get you a similar view from the other side over Lake Louise. It's called Fairview Lookout.
Okay.
So it's short, it's a little steep, but it's got a really beautiful view over the valley and Lake Louise. So you guys can also decide which one you want to do, because you don't need to decide in advance. You can just decide that day.
Okay.
So.
And you making all these notes too, right?
You bet. Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome.
So what is we also heard about like the Tunnel Mountain hike. Is that a hike, or is that?
Yeah. So that one's right in the town of Banff. So you can actually I don't know where you guys are staying in Banff, but you can actually walk to the trailhead from downtown Banff.
You can do that.
So that's
from
just
a hotel.
Okay. So that's just something if we have time and want it. Okay.
That could be like an evening, like an 8 o'clock.
You could do it after dinner if you felt like it. Yeah.
On that Thursday, if we did like Johnson County in the morning.
Yeah.
In the morning.
Yeah.
Is the Bow Valley, is that along the same place as Johnson Canyon?
Yep. So the Bow Valley Parkway is the secondary highway that runs between Banff and Lake Louise. So it actually parallels the Trans-Canada Highway. So one thing that does happen in June is the eastern portion of that highway is actually closed to vehicles. So you can still drive like half of it, but you can't drive the other half.
Oh, okay.
If you wanted to, you could rent e-bikes and ride it if you wanted to. That is an option. That is actually why it's closed, is Parks Canada has closed that section and opened it for cycling. So they do it every May, June, and September. Yeah. There's lots of like nice walks in town too. Like you guys could walk like the Bow River Trail over to Bow Falls. You guys could go walk like the Fenland Loop. You can walk Vermilion Lakes. So Vermilion Lakes Road is just like at the entrance of the town of Banff. A lot of people will drive it, but people run it, they cycle it, they walk it if they want to. So it goes past some lakes. If you guys wanted to just even drive it in the evening as like a scenic drive looking for wildlife, you can do that as well.
Okay.
So we've moved Lake Louise and Moraine Lake to Friday. Yes? I think that's the best choice based on the tea house.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's probably a smart thing to do.
And then Johnson Canyon and the Bow Valley Parkway you'll do on Thursday. And any interest in the cruise, or is that something that sounds like you guys might want to do that?
Actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
Possibly.
That's Lake Minnewanka.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll send you some information on that as well. Because you can kind of make, like, if you guys go out and you do Johnson Canyon and you drive some of the Bow Valley Parkway, another place that you guys could stop along the way, because you're going to be out quite early, right? Because if you go to Johnson Canyon, the tour buses will start arriving sometime between 8 and 8:30. So I'm suggesting that maybe you guys are there for like 7:30 or 8 o'clock, right? And then, so if it takes 2 hours to the Upper Falls and back, you're done by 10 o'clock. So you basically still have a full day. So you could enjoy some of the Bow Valley Parkway, driving out and back. You can take a slight detour up into Kootenai National Park and go see Marble Canyon, which is really pretty. And it's like a really short, like 1 mile hike around it. Whereas Johnson Canyon, you're like in the canyon on the boardwalks attached to the side of the canyon. Marble Canyon, you're kind of up above it looking down as the water flows through it. So it's very pretty. So you guys could do that. And then you could go back to the town of Banff for lunch. And then after that, you could go drive the Lake Minnewanka Loop, stopping at the lakes and doing the boat cruise.
Okay.
Nice. What was Marble Canyon? Where is that? Or there was another
In
word?
Kootenai.
Kootenai.
Kootenai. Yeah. So there's all of these national parks that are all kind of touching each other. So as you go west from Banff into the province of British Columbia, that's where it turns to Yoho. And similarly, when you go south and you hit British Columbia that way, it turns into Kootenai. And then as we go north on the Icefields Parkway, Banff turns into Jasper National Park. So,
Okay.
And is
yep.
Peyto
Lake.
Is
Yeah.
that
So
part of the Bow Valley Parkway?
it's on
or
the
near-
Icefields Parkway.
so
It's on the
ice-
Icefields.
Okay.
But like if you really wanted to see it, maybe what you guys do on Wednesday as you're driving through from Yoho is you just veer up the Icefields Parkway for a bit and maybe just go to Peyto just to see it and come back. And maybe that's as far as you go, right?
So you can just kind of go up as far as you want and you turn.
Absolutely.
turn
So you
back.
guys, I would make like a couple of stops and just say that you saw it. Like maybe you go to Bow Lake, which is really pretty. You go as far as Peyto and then just continue on to Banff. And then you'll have seen it. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Probably any other things just in town or different from the hiking or like something else unusual? I don't know.
Yeah. So there's lots of like viewpoints around the town of Banff that are really pretty as well that you guys could even drive to. Surprise Corner is a really stunning viewpoint over like the Banff Springs Hotel, so Castle in the Rockies. The Hoodoos viewpoint up on Tunnel Mountain Road. I suggest doing that as a drive on your way to Lake Minnewanka. It's just the road itself up there is just really scenic. Like you can stop at the Hoodoos viewpoint. It has a stunning view over the valley. What else in the town of Banff? I talked about the Fenland Loop as a nice short, easy walk. Vermilion Lakes. Another place you guys could go walk as well is, so Banff Ave is the main street, main shopping street, souvenir shops, all of that kind of stuff. At the end of Banff Ave is the Cascade of Time Gardens, and they plant this beautiful garden that you can walk all through there. How much is going to be planted early June? We'll see. It's got a really, really pretty view over Banff Ave with Cascade Mountain. And so whenever you see a picture of the town of Banff, you always see that big looming mountain, right? With the like road running to it. So if you go up there, that's where you'll see that view. And I mean, you can obviously see it from Banff Ave, but that's a really nice spot as well.
Great.
Let me think what else. Oh, and I'm just going to put these out there as far as ideas for things that you guys could do if you had an extra hour or something, right? Like if you had an hour and you're like, oh, let's go walk to the Cascade of Time Gardens, or let's go walk to Bow Falls along the Bow River pathway. The other thing is there's the Cave-in Basin. So the Cave-in Basin is the birthplace of the entire national park system in Canada. So they've built it all around there. So the railway workers who found the hot springs there, and that's what it was all built around, right? And so that's what the Cave-in Basin has, is still like that spot where they found it. But the thing that I like about it is below it and above the building where like the cave is and stuff is a bunch of wooden boardwalks. And they're usually not busy. And they're just really pretty. You get some really pretty mountain views. They're interpretive. There's one point it goes down to like the marsh area and you can look out over the mountains. It's just, if you're looking for like a nice, easy kind of scenic walk, it's a really pretty spot. Yeah. And you can drive right to the Cave-in Basin and park there.
Great.
I feel like we have filled your 3 days.
I think we're going to be busy. We'll be busy for sure.
I think
your
it's-
stuff.
I think it's
I
always
think
really nice to tell people like, these are your options and these are the things that you can do without needing to book anything,
Right.
And so you have your list and you're like, okay, we just finished Moraine Lake and Lake Louise. We hiked the tea house. We're tired. I don't feel like hiking Tunnel Mountain. Let's go walk some boardwalks, or let's like have an afternoon coffee and then go do that. Right. So it's nice to know what's around and what your options are.
Great. Looking
Perfect.
forward to it.
Yeah, that's great. It should be a good time. It shouldn't be too busy around here yet. So
And does it get cool at night? Should we be, it's like you need a kind of a light coat?
yeah, for sure. Even in the mornings, I would say that you might be able to get by with maybe some gloves and a warm hat.
Yeah. So lots of
Perfect.
layering. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. A light down jacket probably wouldn't hurt. A rain
I'm
jacket.
a little freaked out about the bear spray thing, but I'm
Oh, right.
trying to,
I always
get
put that in
over
my
that.
note, but yeah.
ease my mind.
So for sure, when you guys do Johnson Canyon, bring bear spray. Keep in mind, this is a hard one for me because it is rare that you're going to see a bear at Johnson Canyon, and people are like, you're going to get people who are going to be like, oh, you're never going to see a bear there. It's way too busy there. That is not true. They will go through there. It's very rare. In all of the time that I have been here, I've seen a bear once, and I know of a bear being there once. So like, it doesn't happen a lot, but I would rather you guys like be prepared.
Sure.
When you hike the tea house, it's probably going to be busy enough that you're always going to kind of be around people anyways. So it's not going to be just you. But I always tell people, like, you need to be responsible for your own safety and not depending on other people. But you're better off like trying to avoid having to use it, right? Like if nobody's around, make some noise, just yell out, hey bear, just let them know you're coming. They don't want to be around you any more than you want to be around them. Obviously you want to see them from the car, 100%. I get that. And chances are for a lot of things that you're doing, there's going to be other people around as well. But don't feel silly about making noise because the locals do it, right? That's what the locals do. Yeah. So I'll put an email together of everything we talked about. I should have it to you probably tomorrow at some point. And again, the video I promise you for the Parks Canada shuttle stuff. If you have any questions though, just let me know. Great.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's real helpful.
So
Good.
helpful.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it was lovely meeting you, and yeah, have a great trip if I don't talk to you again, but let me know if you have any questions.
Sounds
Thank
great.
you.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Bye.
Bye-bye.
I just know they are going to love this trip and wouldn't be surprised if they plan more national park trips in the future. Now, don't forget, head to banfftravelplanning.com/podcast before April 20th to give me some feedback and to enter the giveaway for one of 3 30-minute travel consultations with me. Until next time, happy trip planning, and I'll see you out on the trails.